Welcome back to another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show. I'm glad to be back.
He's back.
Thanks again to my dad, Eric Lee, for filling in on a late notice last week. I was a little bit under the weather, to say the least. Had that nasty flu bug that's been going around.
It's not a coincidence we had a record number of viewers that week.
Yeah, last week was a record number of Facebook views. So thank you to everybody that viewed the feed last week on Facebook. And please continue to watch every week. You can also find it on Twitter, on the ISC Sports Network app, your favorite podcast platform, iTunes or Apple Podcasts it's called now, I guess, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe and tell your friends. And if you listen on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and review. The 5-star ratings really help us out big time. So, with that said, how are you tonight, J-Man?
It's beautiful, record-setting high day.
It actually is a nice day. Last week you said a beautiful Monday, and it was a pretty dreary Monday last Monday.
I don't remember.
But this Monday, it was nice today.
And yesterday was awesome. So, if it can just keep this weather up until I'd even settle for like early April. If it's like mid-50s all the way, I'd be pretty happy.
You never know what you're going to get with Indiana weather.
Nope.
Or Midwest weather, really. But the Tan and J-Man Show is brought to you tonight, like it is every week, by The Damn Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-breaded tenderloin, seafood, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail, The Damn Landing is the place to be. The Damn Landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou that focuses on freshness and quality. Coming soon is the Damn Smoke. Did you see that picture I shared on our Facebook page?
Awesome.
Ribs and macaroni and cheese. That's all you need to know.
How can you go wrong? It's America.
But it'll be available on the weekends, and it will feature not only barbecue, like I said, the ribs, also steaks. In addition, you can wash it down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best microbrews and domestic flavors, or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Taking the fantastic views of Lake Manitou in their beer garden or outdoor bar area, whether it be boat or by wheels, the Damn Landing is the place to be, located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester. Go check it out. If you haven't, you will not be disappointed.
Got some Birdie Bogey for me?
I do, Josh. I do.
You have it on top of your head, or you have to bring it up on your computer?
I got it on top of my head. Super Bowl was last night.
Yes, it was.
Saw the Kansas City Chiefs beat the San Francisco 49ers, unfortunately, at least from my perspective. But it was a good game. We'll talk much more detail about that game here in a little bit. But going into last night's game, Andy Reid was the winningest active coach to have not won a Super Bowl.
Active, huh?
Now, who holds the seat for the winningest active NFL coach?
Active
head
NFL
coach, not a coordinator.
Head coach,
not a coordinator to have not won a Super Bowl yet.
Who the heck has been around for a while?
And who's the Birdie Bogey sponsored by, J-Man?
Noble Gnome LLC, fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com.
It's getting warmer out. It's about time for veggies.
Get your veggies.
Not yet, but soon. Very soon.
I got some on this day for you.
I'm interested to see the Super Bowl ones here.
There's quite a few of them. Really, since 2001 is kind of when they had that extra week in between. But first, 1876.
Just a few years ago.
Long time ago.
A couple sleeps ago.
Albert Spalding, with $800, starts sporting goods company manufacturing first official baseball, tennis ball, basketball, golf ball, and football.
That's funny you said his name. I said, hey, like the sports ball company. Makes sense.
Yes.
That was also the name of the grandson on Caddyshack. Spalding.
Spalding it was, wasn't it?
You'll get nothing like it. Remember that? I want a cheeseburger. I wanted this. I want to play tennis. Sorry. Great movie.
Let's see here. 1976, the 26th NBA All-Star Game at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The East beat the West, but who was MVP? 76.
76. Ooh, 76. 76. Jerry West?
Dave Bing.
Yeah, I could have gone.
Is Jerry West still playing?
I don't know.
1979 on this day, Minnesota Twins traded Rod Carew to California Angels for 4 players. Hall of Famer. Pretty good.
Yep.
1980, the 30th NBA All-Star Game played at the Capitol Center, Landover, Maryland. The East beat the West. Can you name the MVP in this one?
1980. Man. Larry Bird?
The Iceman, George Gervin. I think he was nicknamed
Bird
the Iceman.
probably wasn't even in it yet.
Was he nicknamed the Iceman?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Let's see here. Not a whole lot from about 80 to, here's a good one. 91, the NFL Pro Bowl was held at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. The AFC beat the NFC. Who was your MVP in 1991?
John Elway.
Jim Kelly.
Hey, I got the AFC and the quarterback right.
Yes.
I'm getting closer.
1993, Cincinnati Reds owner Marge Schott suspended for 1 year due to racist comments.
I'm just laughing because that's come up in our group chat quite a bit because of our good friend Andrew Eiler, who's called in on the show as a big Reds fan. So,
in today's world, she would have been probably lifetime banned, which she should have been back then anyways. But anyway, 1998, the New York Yankees replaced their general manager and hired Brian Cashman.
He's been there
around
since
for 22 years. Can you name the guy who was general manager before Cashman?
I cannot.
Bob Watson. 2002, Tom Brady's did it. First time. Started that
2002
dynasty. This day, 2002, his reign of terror on the AFC.
First of six.
Yeah. Can you name who the MVP was?
Of that game?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Brady?
It's Tom Brady.
Yeah, I thought. But I know he hasn't been MVP of all of them. So
here's a good one. 2008 Super Bowl. 42 maybe. University of Phoenix Stadium, Glendale, Arizona. The New York Giants beat the New England Patriots 17-14.
Super Bowl 43. I'm looking at it right there. XL 111.
This one had it at Super Bowl 42. Who was MVP?
It was Santonio Holmes.
Eli Manning.
Oh, I thought you...
2008 Super Bowl 42.
Oh, I'm
Patriots,
sorry.
Giants.
I thought you were talking about the Super Bowl the next year between the Steelers and the Cardinals.
No.
I completely missed. So it was Super Bowl 42. Yeah.
I demand a handwritten apology.
42 was in Indianapolis. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I literally just said University of Phoenix Stadium.
I'm just... Oh, wow.
Super Bowl 47, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yes.
Baltimore Ravens beat the San Francisco 49ers
Yes.
34-31.
Mm-hmm. Flacco, MVP.
2019, which was last year, was one of the worst Super Bowls in recent memory, 13-3. Can you name the MVP of that one?
Tom Brady?
No.
I don't even remember who played well in that.
Julian Edelman.
I couldn't told you that.
There's only one touchdown scored, I believe.
That game was terrible, like you said.
It was awful. That'll do it for... that is the extent of my sports knowledge of today. So
you brought a lot to the table tonight. You brought the juice.
I appreciate
you brought the
it.
fire.
Thank you to onthisday.com.
Yes.
That was on my phone right there.
Yes, and I tried to tell it wasn't factual, and I'm the one who wasn't paying attention. So
yeah, it's pretty reliable source there.
Yeah. Speaking of Super Bowl 54 was played last night. Like I said, saw the Chiefs win their first Super Bowl in 50 years by a score of 31-20. They were down 20-10 with about 10 minutes left in the game.
Yeah. Well, Kyle Shanahan's been involved in some, I don't know if I'd really call what the 49ers did a choke job last night. Maybe.
Questionable play calling.
What was their questionable play calling, though? I don't even really remember thinking.
Well, I do remember there was one point in the game late. They ran it with Mostert on first down, got 5 yards. And then he just went away from the run and tried to go pass.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Jimmy G didn't play great really all game.
Threw a bad pick. I thought he played pretty well for 3 quarters, though.
He's pretty efficient.
And then
he started 17 to 20 or something like that.
I thought Shanahan showed his cards before halftime when he had a full sleeve of timeouts.
That first drive was great.
59 seconds left. Didn't take any of them. I think he was scared if they didn't get a first down and took some timeouts that Kansas City would go down and score. Kansas City, rightfully so, most feared team in the league this year on offense.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're a team where you can't play not to lose. It always brings me back to that Jaguar-Patriot game in New England a few years ago in the AFC Championship. Jaguars got the ball back with 2 minutes left, 3 timeouts, took 3 knees, just went into half, happy with the lead. You have to go and try to win that thing. Have to go down and try to score instead of playing scared, essentially. And I thought that's what the Niners did. Now, they're obviously a better team than Jacksonville was, although Jacksonville was pretty good that year. But still, even against a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you have to go try to score as many points as possible. You can't just sit on your hands, and they almost did. The heck's their tight end name? George Kittle got called for a controversial push-off. I thought it was offensive.
I thought it was the right call, but it was close.
Yeah, he kind of extended his arm. He didn't really push, but he didn't need to do it for one.
No, he did not.
But I thought it was the right call. I know a lot of people, probably 50% of people on Twitter were complaining about it. The other 50% said it was a good call.
Well, yeah, it was, when you talk about the Chiefs, it's kind of like cutting a snake's head off. You got to cut it off when you got the chance to make sure it's off and that snake's dead. I feel like too many times in the playoffs this year, people would chop at the Chiefs with a machete and wouldn't cut off the head. 24-0 lead diminished by the Houston Texans. Then the Titans had a 10-point lead. Then the Niners had a 10-point lead. 3 different comebacks in one playoff run. That's pretty incredible.
No, I said last week that they can't afford to get down double digits, and they did, and it didn't hurt them.
It's weird, after that second pick of Mahomes with about 10 minutes left, the Niners team did that team photo.
Yep.
Came back to bite them.
That's my least favorite thing in football. After a turnover, they run down. I hate it. Can't stand it. And I honestly thought Patrick Mahomes played one of his worst games of his career up to that point, but then he ends up throwing 2 touchdowns. He runs for 1.
Wasn't surprising he won MVP, but I think Williams deserved it more.
It should have been Damian Williams, in my opinion. He scored 2 touchdowns, had the game clincher. He had the game clincher late with a long touchdown run, but he also caught the touchdown to put him ahead. Damian Williams is kind of interesting, comes back to Miami for the first time since he was a Dolphin. Adam Gase did not want him back because he hurt his shoulder that first year Gase was there. Decided not to re-sign him, and he only signed for $1.5 million with the Chiefs. Now he has, I think, 12 postseason touchdowns since then.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Adam Gase is the gift that keeps on giving.
He's fun to root against.
I hate him.
I'll tell you that much.
Hate him.
What was I going to say about Mahomes? I was going to say something. I don't remember. But, this starts the decade, 2020. How many more, if any more, do the Chiefs get? Did we see the beginning of a potential dynasty last night?
I think it's absolutely a potential dynasty. If they would have lost that one, though, it would have been interesting to see if he ends up having a career like Dan Marino.
Yeah, no offense. That's what I was hoping for.
Goes his first or his second year starting, essentially.
Full year.
And goes to the Super Bowl. They got beat by the 49ers, which would have been the same, and then doesn't get back. To answer your question, I think they win at least 2 more in the next 10 years. I think that's fair.
I think a lot of fans, especially AFC West fans, are fearing a young Mahomes like a lot of them feared John Elway back then. Said, gosh, we got to play against this guy next 12 to 15 years. He's a little more advanced athletically, but... and
a better thrower.
Yeah, except John had about the best arm.
Better winner.
There was. Yeah, John, it took the last 2 years of his career to finally win. But it'll be interesting with Mahomes because the Chiefs are going to have to pay him here and after next year. And that's going to hurt their chance to keep a lot of their other good players around. Look at the Seahawks with Russell Wilson. Look at the Ravens, what they did with Joe Flacco. Gave him a huge contract, and you lose a bunch of your other pieces. So it will be interesting. But he is the most talented young quarterback in the game, so you can build around him. But it'll be interesting.
You can also say look at Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Look at Peyton Manning. The Colts were consistently real freaking good, even though they had no defense. You pay your quarterback, takes care of itself.
Yeah. Well, they also drafted well. They drafted, Peyton and Edrin.
And the Chiefs
had Marvin.
The Chiefs have shown they can draft well. Tyreek Hill was a later pick. Travis Kelce was second or third round pick. He might have been a third round pick. That Hardman was a second round pick.
You're right.
So their front office has shown that they can draft really well. Look at all the guys they've produced. They had Dorsey in Cleveland. That one didn't work out. But Ballard in Indianapolis was a Kansas City guy, I believe.
Would you say they're the favorites going into next year?
I saw they have the best odds in Vegas. It's tough to do it back-to-back years. I mean, who's the last team to have done that? Was it New England?
Yeah.
Back in what years? I don't want to do the math again in my head.
Yeah, they've done back-to-back. They beat the Panthers and the Eagles back-to-back.
So that was like 04, 05. I mean, it's been 15 years, so it's tough to do. I think right now they'd probably be the favorites.
And then the Patriots got the back-to-back when they beat the Falcons and got back there and lost to the Eagles.
Yeah, and didn't they go to 3 straight?
Yep, and then they beat the Rams last year.
So they went 2-3, I guess, so that's pretty good. But watch out for a team like Baltimore, because they're going to play mad.
Yep.
Next year went 14-2 and get beat by Tennessee.
How about the Niners? Do you think they're the favorites in the NFC next year?
That's a good
ESPN
question.
has the Chiefs number 1 in the power rankings and the Niners number 2.
Which, I mean, that's fair.
But the Niners went from what, like 4-12 or 3-13 last year to 13-3. I don't see them having that good a record next year. Maybe more like a 10-6, 11-5.
I agree.
But I think they'll be there. But
this Niners team feels like a team that maybe even like Atlanta won't even get to the playoffs the next year, or even like a team. I wouldn't really compare them to Denver in Super Bowl 50 because they're younger, of course. I mean that was just, it was a great run for Denver, but you lose your quarterback. Defense was getting a little older. A lot of guys left in free agency. I don't really know who they have as free agents right now that could potentially be gone. Jimmy G's solid. He needed to go win that thing yesterday, and he just didn't do it. But he's a good enough guy to build around.
Probably losing sleep over overthrowing Sanders there on 3rd down.
Oh, absolutely.
Late in the 4th quarter.
If he had a little younger guy, maybe Debo goes and catches that. But yeah, I bet he thought about that quite a bit last night.
Yeah, because that's the throw he needed to make. I mean, it was tough, but...
How much time was left at that point? Was it 2 minutes? Maybe a minute and a half?
Minute 49,
Minute
maybe?
49.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but...
Would have left way too much time for...
Well, they could have ran a few plays and had Kansas City burn a few of their timeouts.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the game-changing sort of play.
You mentioned the Ravens. ESPN has them number 3. They have the Saints as number 4.
Is Drew Brees going to be back? We'll
find out soon. I would say yes, one more run.
And they're set up to be good enough to do it next year. Of course, we thought that this year, too, and get upset by the Vikings in round 1.
Yep.
Packers, 5th.
Yeah, they have Packers 5th. I think that's, year 2 in Matt LaFleur's offense. I think that's fair.
I've been on record saying this was the worst 13-3 team I have ever seen. They need to draft some playmakers for Aaron Rodgers. His receiving core outside of Devontae Adams is not good. They need some help there. If they get some help, I mean, their defense was pretty good. They have a few free agents on their defense. Their running game was good. They could be good again, but I don't see them going 13-3.
And they got the Seahawks number 6.
Seahawks will be good. I mean, as Russell Wilson always have them there. So.
Yep. Number 7, Patriots, but I think that's a big question mark about Tom Brady.
Huge question mark. There was a report yesterday that Patriots will be willing to pay him $30 million next year.
I think that's all PR fluff.
It could be a bluff.
Because just to me, why would the Patriots let that be known? It just seems weird, but we'll see.
There's so many rumors this time of year, especially now that the Super Bowl's over. The offseason starts here in about 4 weeks.
I am less confident that he will be with another team than I was a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, I thought he was out of New England. Now I'm starting to think he's going to be back. But
it's one of those things where I'd believe it when I see it. Yep. There's also a report out of Miami this Super Bowl by Mike Florio that said there's been increasing buzz about Tom Brady to Miami this offseason, which would be interesting from my perspective. But the dots he kind of connected were, well, it's closer to Costa Rica, which is where they have a house. It's closer to her home country of Brazil. The Miami fashion scene's a lot better than in Boston or Indianapolis or San Diego. So I don't know if he was just kind of connecting those dots or if he was actually hearing legitimate buzz. But honestly, at this point, as I said, I think I'd take Fitzpatrick next year over Tom Brady. And there's a report about Oakland being a team.
Las Vegas.
Oh, shit, that's going to take me forever.
Las Vegas with...
I'm still calling them the San Diego Chargers.
I know, yeah. So. Which I could see the Chargers or the Raiders being destinations. There was also a rumor that he registered his son at a Nashville school. I see them sticking with Tannehill.
Absolutely.
And speaking of the Titans, ESPN has an 8. Number 8, power rankings.
I can see them taking quite a bit of step back. I love Mike Vrabel, though. And love Ryan Tannehill. He won a comeback player of the year.
Good Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown. Got some young,
it's a good team.
Tools there.
Yeah, good defense.
Got Minnesota at number 9.
Kirk Cousins last year of his deal. I think they'll be in the market to draft a quarterback fairly early.
New offensive coordinator, officially his title now, Gary Kubiak.
He
officially has the title
He was
now.
kind of the guy that ran the offense anyway, even though Stefanski got the Cleveland Browns job because of it. He's a great offensive coordinator. I mean, he's been around for a long time.
Yep.
I could see them being about 9-7, 10-6 like they are every year.
They got the Texans 10 and the Bills 11.
Houston Texans, I think Bill O'Brien should have one of the hottest seats in the NFL this year. They have to get to the AFC Championship, in my opinion. Have to.
You got to do something.
Have to. He's been there, 6-7 years
6 or 7
now?
yeah.
Third year or fourth year of Deshaun Watson. Is it fourth year already?
Will be next year. It'll be the fourth year of Mahomes, technically, even though it's...
Yeah.
Because he only played one game his first year. Fourth year Trubisky, all those guys.
DeAndre Hopkins is going to demand a ton of money.
Sure. As he should.
Absolutely, as he should. So they need to
12th is the Cowboys. Something. New coach Mike McCarthy.
Sounds like they're going to franchise tag Dak Prescott. I could see them 8-8, 10-6, something.
13th is the Rams. I was surprised to see them that well in the rankings.
That well? Mm-hmm. Well, I guess this is end of season rankings, isn't it? I could see them taking a massive step forward next year. They kind of had that hangover from losing the Super Bowl last year.
Big year for Jared Goff, probably.
Huge year for Jared Goff and probably Sean McVay, too.
Yep.
I mean, they need to make the playoffs.
New defensive coordinator for him next year. Wade Phillips is no longer with them. So.
Is he anywhere? Is he going to retire?
No,
he sounds like he wants to coach.
Yeah, they did not renew. Brandon Staley, who was the Broncos' outside linebacker coach, is their new defense coordinator. So we'll see. Then in 14-15, you got 2 Pennsylvania teams and the Eagles and the Steelers.
Steelers' Big Ben will be back, we think. I haven't heard any rumors about him potentially retiring, although it's been rumored past couple off seasons that he's still mulling it, so who knows. But after missing a year, I'm sure he has that fire back.
In 16, you got the Falcons.
They played well at the end of the year. This absolutely is a year Matt Ryan and their coach, whose name Dan Quinn, they have to get to the playoffs, or Falcons need to move on from both of them.
17-18, you got the 2 local teams around here, the Colts and the Bears.
Colts will be an interesting one this offseason to follow. Maybe quarterback search. Are they going to take one early? They've been linked to guys like Jordan Love. I haven't heard him linked to Jake Fromm at all. I don't think they're 100% sold on Jacoby Brissett. He played real bad at the end of the year. So
8 draft picks, more than $90 million in salary cap space to work with.
Not bad.
Big offseason.
Seems like Colts always have a ton in cap space because they never really do much. Because no offense to Indianapolis. I mean, I like Indy. But it's not necessarily a destination spot. As for the Bears, this is the year for Trubisky. If he doesn't play better this year, they need to cut ties.
Yeah, they still got a strong defense. They're going to have a strong defense. So, 19, you got the Buccaneers.
Is Jameis going to be back?
I hope so for entertainment value.
I don't see him starting anywhere else. He wants $30 million.
They did finish the season strong this year, so
maybe New England will pay him the $30 million instead of Tom Brady. One for each interception he throws.
Number 20, you got the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's fair. I think they'll be around that 6-10, 8-8. If
$2 billion, 65,000 seat stadium.
If they were to go 4-12. Is that enough to fire Gruden?
I think they still keep him, but I think they move on from Carr.
Yeah. Carr is...
That might put them in a Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes.
Man.
Ugh.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun for you.
At 21, my Denver Broncos. Well, fine with that.
They played well at the end of the year as well.
Yep.
Second year of Drew. It's almost pretty much his first year still.
He went 4-1. At the
He
end,
did get 5
they got
stars.
more than $60 million in cap space, and they have 12 draft picks.
It's a way to do it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Number 22, the Cleveland Browns. Just think last year they were like 5th at the start of the season in the power rankings.
Yeah. Baker said some comments like, I don't even remember what he said, but he kind of embarrassed himself again with his comments just a few days ago.
Needs to shut up.
He just needs to shut up. Absolutely. That team is just filled with cancers. OBJ, Jarvis Landry. I'm not going to call Baker
How about Myles
a
Garrett?
cancer. What Myles Garrett did, absolutely. That just kills your team.
Yep.
I mean, he was probably on pace to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. He had, 12-something sacks?
Yep.
So
Number 23, the Arizona Cardinals, who are led by the offensive rookie, or actually just the rookie of the year, Kyler Murray.
he was offensive. Rookie of the year.
Offensive. Yeah, they do split that up, don't they? I knew that was wrong after I said that.
He probably shouldn't have. I mean, there was at least one other quarterback that played better in Gardner Minshew. I mean, you had good receivers like A.J. Brown. Had
Yes,
a great
thing though,
year.
Kyler did start the whole year, and Minshew had a few weeks he was on the bench.
Yeah.
But
Numbers-wise, though, Minshew was
Yep.
better.
Number 24, the Los Angeles Chargers. They will be with a new quarterback. Phillip Rivers' days are done as a Charger.
I did see they gave their head coach Anthony Lynn
An extension,
which kind of surprised me a little bit because in the NFL you don't really need to give guys extension. I mean, you don't really want them to be a lame duck like Joe Madden was this year in baseball.
They were 2-9 in one-score games this year. 2 years ago when they went 12-4, they were 6-1 in one-score games. There's your difference.
Were they the most disappointing team in football?
Oh, by far.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think I had them winning that division.
A lot of people had them in the Super Bowl. So, number 25, the New York Jets, Jets.
I would rather the Patriots win 10 Super Bowls in a row than the Jets make one playoff appearance.
Oh, man.
Hate them.
They have $60 million cap room to spend.
Do not like Adam Gase at all. I didn't have no problem with Darnold. Don't like Le'Veon Bell.
Your Dolphins are number 26.
Yeah, they played well at the end of the year, much like Denver.
And you've been on record saying they're going to make the playoffs.
That was my extremely bold prediction. But how much? I know they have like over $100 million cap space, I believe.
Yes, they're expected $100 million in cap space
and I think
after roster cuts.
13 draft picks.
14 projected.
14.
3 in the first round and 6 selections in the top 70.
It's not bad. That's this will be the most exciting offseason since I've been.
It's going to be Tua or Herbert. My prediction for them.
And man, the way Herbert played at the Senior Bowl, he's rising up there.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not going to talk myself into
say
it
you've been
because I
so
don't.
against it.
I really
Yeah.
don't want Herbert,
Yep.
but he's probably at this point with Tua's injury history, he's probably a safer pick at 5. Still think the Dolphins would have to trade up for Tua to get. I don't think a team ahead of them is going to take him, but that just leaves a team like the Chargers
Right behind them at 6.
right behind him. But the good thing is, with Herbert's reemergence, because he was kind of falling back there for a little while this season, that could potentially help their case of just staying at 5. You know, if Chargers want to jump him, so be it. For Tua, I'm okay with it. But they need a franchise quarterback. Haven't had one ever.
Number 27, you got the Carolina Panthers, who retirement by Luke Kuechly hurt them. They cut Greg Olson last week, so you're going to have Cam Newton, probably, and Christian McCaffrey, also led by new coach Matt Rule.
Be interesting to see what Rule can do in the NFL.
Yep.
I don't really have an opinion on them.
28, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Can't believe Doug Marrone survived that dumpster fire of a season.
It'll be interesting with their quarterback situation with Foles and Minshew next year.
It's got to be Minshew. Feel bad for Foles. I mean, I don't feel bad for him because he's done this twice now where he's gotten a huge deal and then just been terrible wherever.
Gets out of that Superman Eagle jersey and
That's
back
about
to
the
Clark Kent.
only spot he's been good. Was he there with Chip Kelly?
Yes, when
Is
he
that
threw
when he
like
had his good
30 touchdowns and a
good
couple
year?
picks.
Where'd he start his college career at?
He didn't start at Arizona. I didn't know that.
He did not.
No,
Michigan State.
I did not know that. Number 29, the New York Giants.
They're going to stink.
Then at 30, you got the Lions, 31 Redskins, and 32 the Cincinnati Bengals.
Bengals are by far the most interesting team in the bottom 3 or 4 with I can't imagine they don't take anyone except
I would be shocked.
Joe Burrow.
I would be shocked.
I could see the Redskins going 2-14. I could see the Lions.
Redskins got a new coach, Ron Rivera.
This will be the last year for
Patricia. Could be last year for
Price
Stafford.
Maybe they try to deal him. I've actually, somebody a few months ago, just a Dolphin guy I follow on Twitter kind of said, what would you think if the Dolphins were to take on Matt Stafford's salary for a year or two, have a guy like Tua sit behind him? I'd be okay with it because I think the team next year, with all that cap space, could be good enough that Matt Stafford could lead them to a playoff, but we'll see. Football's over, man.
Not so fast.
Are you going to watch the XFL?
I'll probably watch a little bit of it.
You want to go through and pick some games?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I really don't. I will pick Bob Stoops' team all day long because I trust him more than the other 7 coaches.
I want to even see if I have the XFL on my score app.
But the NFL is done till, well, really, it's never done because the off season is the real season. But look for my first mock draft to be coming out here in the next few weeks.
Draft season is one of my favorite. The draft really is one of my favorite.
Free agency's fun. So,
events.
But the next NFL game actual meaningful game we'll talk about will be September. It's gonna be a little while. So,
who do the Chiefs play opening night that Thursday? If the Chiefs even play that Thursday, who knows?
Well, the AFC West does play the AFC East. If Tom Brady's back,
it'll be the Patriots.
Patriots at if they play at Arrowhead though, because they're gonna have a home opener. I don't know the last time they played where they played at, so I would have to look into it.
Well, they play every year now that they win the division.
That's true.
Both teams win the division every year, but that doesn't matter.
That was at Gillette this year, but
wherever it was 3 years ago or 2 years ago.
Which I couldn't have told you without looking it up.
No, I have no idea. Actually, wasn't it in Kansas City because it was one of the years?
Oh, it was the one of the years
New England started out 1-2 or something.
Well, that debunks that. So
yeah,
throw the Dolphins in there against the week 1.
Dolphins played them in Miami this year.
Oh, never mind.
My dad and I try to go to one Dolphins game a year down in Miami, and that is the one I want to go to. So, Dad, if you're watching, let's get tickets whenever they
probably like June-ish when they come on sale. July, June.
Yeah.
June.
I think so. That'll be a hot expense. And if Tom Brady somehow ends up in Miami, that'll be a Sunday nighter. You can take it to the bank.
Yep. So I'm not betting against you. You want to talk some hoops? College hoops, Big Ten hoops.
I guess.
Big Ten's crazy.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
A little throwback to Lamar Jackson's Heisman speech from a couple years ago. Man, just when I think, there's a team that might separate itself a little bit, it all gets
jumbled up
again.
Now, who we have? I think it's still a tie at the top. It's a tie
between Michigan State and Illinois. Illinois had it for one day, though.
Had it for one day. I felt good about it. Michigan State loses at Wisconsin, who's without, in my opinion, their best player in Kobe King. And then
he's done for the year.
Yes, he
Quit
has.
The program.
Dunzo. Which I still don't really have any idea why. He didn't give an explanation.
It sounds like it goes back to Greg Gard something. I don't know.
Wasn't it something he thinks? I don't want to speculate.
He didn't like the way Gard was treating him and his teammates. He pretty much said, that's a vague or a broad.
That kind of seems like a cop out. It seems like he should have. I'm not judging.
This is a kid who grew up a Wisconsin fan. He wanted to play for Wisconsin his whole life, and he played 2 years. Then you quit. I mean,
especially February.
Yeah,
they're literally right on the bubble. I've seen them like first 4 out. Have him in as a 10 seed, and he's their second leading scorer.
DeCourcy has him as a 7 today.
He has him as a 7, which I guess beating a Michigan State helps immensely. Yep. But they did it without Brad Davison too, who
suspended 1 game.
Yeah, gave a shot below the belt to a player running through a screen.
You don't do that unless you mean harm to the guy.
Can't believe he got 1 game, but Alan Griffin got 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Both were
should both been
pretty
2.
bad. Should have been 2. Yeah, I agree. So Kevin Warren is kind of the new commissioner.
He's putting the hammer down.
He's dropping the hammer, which I'm glad he's because Brad Davison is like a Grayson Allen type. He does stuff like that every single year.
I got a real problem with him putting his foot under people when they're coming down for a rebound. He's going to snap somebody's ankle one of these games. That's dirty. Those little things just tick me off. There's no place in the game for that.
You gain nothing by doing it.
But that was the Big Ten upset of the weekend. Saw a lot of teams struggle. You had to get on the road. Indiana went to Value City Arena over at Columbus and lost by 9. Their typical road performance, they went cold for a while.
They started
Especially
off
around the rim.
They started off, I think, 5 of 7 from 3, which they're not a good shooting team at all. But they just really struggled once again putting the ball in the basket.
Yep.
It's what you got to do to win games.
And that was Ohio State's without DJ Carson, who's taken a leave of absence to help some mental health stuff.
I mean, he needs to be applauded. That takes bravery to come out.
A lot of guts, especially today with social media.
He's been dealing with mental. Yep. Mental. What was the word he used? It was just
mental health.
Yeah, I mean, he's had mental health issues or whatever.
He just said he's not 100% right. He wants to take time to get right, and who knows when he'll return, if at all, this year. But yeah, Indiana lost on the road.
Mental illness. That's the word he used.
Yes, there you go. Who else played over? Rutgers had a surprising loss in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Against Michigan. Michigan gave up a home game to play that game in Madison Square Garden, but got the win.
Didn't hurt them. No.
That was a really good game. Penn State smacked Nebraska around.
Everyone's smacking Nebraska around now.
Maryland beat Iowa early in the week, last week.
Iowa did lose at Nebraska too, so Purdue's not the only one, and Iowa's pretty dang good. So.
Was there a Friday night game this week?
There was not.
No.
I do not, because there was 5 games on Saturday.
Yeah, Purdue
one on Sunday.
Stole one at Northwestern, down 58-50 with 2:43 left. Just stole it right under Chris Collins' nose.
Northwestern didn't score the rest of the game.
Purdue was 11-0 run.
Big Ryan Young fumbled the ball out of bounds when he had a pretty easy layup.
You know, it's sad. That's Eric Wheeler's best contribution all year is asking for the review.
When it first happened, I thought there's no way Aaron Wheeler didn't hit it out, but it was clearly off Ryan Young.
Matt Pater, after the game, said, "We finally won a monitor review." Because he goes, every time I feel like we lose those. I do hate those monitor reviews.
That's one of those wins where it's just so good it wasn't a loss.
Yes.
A win's, it's whatever, but it prevented a loss.
It prevented the end of the season. The absolute nail in the coffin.
I wouldn't say it saved the season, but it prevented it from being absolutely
over. We're going
to
have to see what they do now going forward, especially on the road. They got 4 road games remaining. They have one home game this week against number 18 Iowa or number 17 Iowa, home Wednesday night. Then they're at Indiana Saturday. That's Indiana's only game this week. Back in December, you said the Illinois-Missouri game is your least favorite sporting event. Purdue at Indiana basketball is my least favorite sporting event, but it shouldn't be because Purdue's won 4 of the last 5 times down there.
Well there.
And I think they've won 9 of the last 10 or maybe 10 of the last 11 against Indiana. Mm-hmm. They've kind of owned them, and maybe that's what makes me nervous. Indiana's due to smack them around. And Indiana plays good at home.
They played well at home.
They lost against Maryland and Arkansas. And Purdue's got 2 road wins, Ohio and Northwestern.
I checked out Ohio the other day. Good. They're not good. It's kind of like winning at Grand Canyon, like Illinois did.
Yep. You're thankful you get out of there without
with
a loss.
Win. Yeah, exactly.
But including the Indiana game, Purdue's also got road trips to Ohio State, Wisconsin, and Iowa remaining.
It's not fun.
No. I mean, got some, Ohio State, Wisconsin, maybe those aren't as tough as originally thought on the road, but it's not going to be easy.
Iowa's pretty tough.
And that's their senior night, so it's going to be real tough.
They don't really have any seniors.
Wednesday night's going to be tough at Mackey Arena, but I'm glad it's at home.
They're a solid squad.
Your lineup play once this week, Maryland?
Yeah, number 9 Maryland. Illinois fell 1 spot in the rankings after losing to Iowa yesterday. I was pretty encouraged by the way they played last year at Iowa. I don't know if you remember that game at all. The Illinois-Iowa was January 20th last year. Iowa shot 68% from the floor, 15 of 21 from 3. Put up 95 points.
I'm sure you were a bundle of joy that day.
Illinois was 4-11 at that point, so I didn't care. But I was fully anticipating them shooting like that yesterday. And credit Illinois' defense. They played well. They couldn't handle Garza, which he was a guy I was...
He's the big player of the year right now.
Absolutely.
He's not Cassius.
He was a guy I was super nervous about just because he can step out and hit the 3 ball. Kofi struggles with ball screens, and that was just C.J. Frederick would drive, just kind of dish it out, and Garza would knock it in. Garza started 0 for 2 or 3. He didn't score a point for the first 14 minutes and then went on an 11-2 run by himself. I will credit Illinois because they played tough yesterday. They had a 4-point lead.
That was a good ball game.
4 minutes left. And they really got no contribution from Kofi at all. He struggled here past couple weeks. He's been kind of inconsistent, which he's a freshman. We still don't really recognize him as one just because he's played so well. Io hasn't played great the past 2 ball games. Georgie was awful yesterday. He was horrendous. And
he did have a sweet acrobatic shot one time.
Yeah, it looked like Dr. J. It was pretty cool. But then they were up 2 with about 4 minutes left, and he was throwing the ball. They inbounded the ball to Georgie. He's throwing it back to either Frazier or Felice. Threw it right to Wieskamp, and Wieskamp made a shot. It was a ball game, in my opinion. They only scored 3 points or 6 points the rest of the game. But Andres Feliz, grown man, strong, tough, bulldog, had 17. He's a guy, by far on their roster is a guy that can single-handedly stop a run. Did it against... Did it at Michigan, kept him in the game, scored 12 of 16 points in a stretch against Michigan when Michigan was trying to pull away. Yesterday, every run Iowa would make, Felice would come back with a layup. Same against Minnesota, too. That's the thing I like about this team. Underwood's barely called any timeouts over the past 8 games because every time a team would go on like an 8-6-0 run, something like that, Illinois would answer back. And Underwood, after the game, said...
He did call a timeout late in the game yesterday.
With 4 seconds left or something when they were down 7.
That's when I thought there was a little chippiness on both sides going on.
Wieskamp had a big dunk with like 9 seconds left to put him up 10. It was so they were kind of mad about that, and I'm sure that's why Underwood called it, which I have no problem with Wieskamp dunking. If I had an opportunity to dunk, I'd stick my whole arm in the rim,
360 off the backboard.
I would have showboated the heck out of it if I had one opportunity to dunk.
They'd have to stop play, get a trampoline out.
Yeah, I'd shatter the backboard. I'd hang on, just try to pull the whole thing down, pull a shack. But then there's a little kerfuffle. Remember
yeah, that was one of those 10 words done last year. Yeah.
After the game where an Illinois assistant stupidly was yelling. He was probably yelling at Wieskamp. But McCaffrey pulled his team off the court. Jamal Walker was kind of getting into it with Fran.
Yeah.
Which that was dumb on Illinois' part. I know they were hot and frustrated because they lost for the first time.
That game's going to be a hot one late here in the next few weeks.
It's going to be fun. I hope they wax them. Just kill them. Because I do not like the McCaffreys. My mom's whole family, Iowa fans. And they're actually not bad.
Some are probably watching this.
But I hope they are. Just living in Iowa for those 3 years, I grew to hate University of Iowa. Basketball,
you had some
not
good
football.
You had some good tweets yesterday about the Iowa fan base.
Yes.
You also were told you got called a baby by somebody.
I did. Somebody said, "Oh, you mad, baby?" Did you see the GIF I sent him back?
No.
It was the Sandlot. Blew him a kiss. But I have said for years how Iowa has the most underrated, terrible fan base in sports. I'm fully convinced one of their players could walk out onto the court, put a bullet in a guy, and they would just boo the heck out of the foul call.
That's a little extreme.
Every single call that went against Iowa, they're just booing mercilessly. I guess that doesn't make them a good fan base when they do that. I don't like that.
I feel like every Big Ten home team does that to an extent.
Sure.
But
Iowa takes it to an extreme.
I will say a few times they boo really loud.
Really loud. For stuff that... I mean, DeMonte Williams, there was one time, DeMonte Williams was standing there for 5 seconds. Wieskamp barrels into him. Williams has been set for a couple seconds. They call a charge, and there's a guy that about ran out on the court and went after Mike Eads, which Fran McCaffrey doesn't like Mike Eads at all.
Who likes Mike Eads? I don't like Mike Eads.
You definitely don't like
My dad told him he stinks at the Crossroads Classic.
Give him a thumbs up.
Yeah.
But anyway, felt pretty good about the way Illinois played. No problems.
But the Big Ten race is getting interesting. We're a little over the halfway point now, I believe. We've got some good matchups this week. Tomorrow night, you've got Rutgers at number 9 Maryland.
Rutgers needs it. Maryland's hot right now.
They don't lose at home.
And they haven't lost one home game, and I don't think they lose Tuesday. Surprised they're not playing tonight since they play Friday.
I like Maryland as well. That is tomorrow, 7 o'clock on Fox Sports 1. Also at 7 o'clock, but on ESPN 2, you got The Game, as it's called in football, Ohio State at Michigan. Michigan is a 2.5-point favorite.
Both teams need it. Ohio State needs a road win in the worst way. Michigan just needs to keep winning. Had one at Nebraska on Tuesday. Tuesday or Wednesday, and then, of course, one in Madison Square Garden against
Without
Rutgers.
Livers.
Yeah, Livers still
again.
hurt. He got hurt against Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michigan wins at home.
I agree, but I could literally see
It's
this
a toss-up.
This is a coin toss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good ranked matchup here Tuesday night. Number 22, Penn State at number 16, Michigan State. Michigan State is an 8.5-point favorite.
Man, that's a little high.
You know they're going to be angry.
Yeah, and they're not a team you want to play coming off a loss.
No.
Because they don't lose 2 in a row very often. Penn State poses some issues, though. I don't know who's going to guard. Maybe Aaron Henry guards Lamar Stevens. Stevens went over the 2,000-point mark, which is
insane.
insane.
It made me shake my head the other day when I heard that. That's crazy.
Their guards are great. They're really good shooting ball. Mike Watkins blocking shots, rebounding. That
course,
John Harrah throwing bows.
Of course, he has them a 6 or 7 seed right now.
They're a good squad, but I do not see Michigan State losing at the Breslin Center.
I don't either. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, Big Ten Network, number 17, Iowa at Purdue. Purdue needs another big win.
Yeah, Purdue needs it. Iowa needs it to keep pace.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're 7-4 in the Big Ten, a game out right now.
Iowa's 3-3 on the road. Purdue's 9-2 at home.
Mackey's so tough to win in.
Illinois found a way easily.
They played
Texas somehow found a way.
maybe the best second half I've ever seen an Illinois team play against Purdue. Man, I got to take Iowa. Sorry.
No, I'm with you.
Harms is going to have to stay on the court to guard
they're
Garza.
going to have to give Garza foul trouble early.
Have to.
Because he's an emotional player, so if the fans can get on him maybe a little bit, disrupt him a
I mean,
little
I
bit.
like emotion, but Garza, every time he scores, he's doing something. It kind of gets old.
I hope Purdue comes with the same toughness at home as they did against Wisconsin.
Yeah, they played real well
against
against Wisconsin. I don't know how Travion's going to be able to guard Garza at all. It's kind
I
of
don't
like
know how he
Kofi.
can guard anybody, man.
It's kind of like
It
Kofi.
drives me nuts. He travels a couple times a game, but he's their best offensive player. Even though statistically, I read a stat today that Matt Harms is by far their best player as far as points when he's in and stuff.
Really?
So it's really weird.
I think he's been terrible this year.
I still think he's hurt, but
It could be.
But that's still, I thought he's regressed. Maybe that shot gets Sasha going from the other night.
Yeah, who guards Wieskamp? Because he plays the 4 for him. Yesterday
It's probably Boudreaux. Boudreaux's starting.
Yesterday,
Wheeler maybe.
I'm gonna have to put Eastern on him. Illinois put DeMonte Williams on him and had Georgie Bashanishvili on Connor McCaffrey, who can't shoot, but he hit 3 threes yesterday. So it kind of backfired in that sense.
They got so many weapons.
But Wieskamp didn't really do a whole lot, and you're not scared of McCaffrey shooting the ball. C.J. Frederick is going to be a pain in the butt. Redshirt freshman from Kentucky, great shooter. He's just a really good ball player.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. I hope Purdue wins. I hope they find a way to pull some of that Mackey magic, but I think Iowa's really, really good. Wisconsin at Minnesota Wednesday night.
Give me Minnesota. Brad Davison's back.
They gotta have it.
Have to. Wisconsin needs a road win, too. But I think Minnesota really has 3 players that do anything.
Yeah.
And really, if Kalisher is not doing anything, they struggle.
Yeah.
Marcus Carr's great, although he didn't do much against Illinois on Thursday. Daniel Oturu might be the highest draft pick in the league.
You could have a first-team All-Big Ten of 5 bigs.
You really
They're
could.
not going to, but you could.
Absolutely could. Give me Minnesota at home.
I like that as well. Friday night, number 9, Maryland at number 20, Illinois. That's at 8 o'clock, Fox Sports 1 game.
I'm not concerned about this Illinois team. However, I am a little worried that just because they finally lost one, they kind of let their guard down and lose at home to Maryland. It's a game they really need to have. Maybe not need is a strong word, but I would feel really good if they won this one. Puts less pressure on them to beat Michigan State on Tuesday. So I'm taking Illinois in a close one, low scoring.
I'll take Maryland in a close one just to switch it up, but I can see it either way. I think it's coin toss.
I agree.
And Maryland's game tomorrow night might tell us a lot about them too.
Yeah,
that's going to be a physical test against Rutgers. So
if Maryland loses tomorrow, I think they win on Friday.
Saturday, we got 4 games. Michigan State, number 16th ranked, like I said earlier, at Michigan. It's a nooner. Michigan State got the best of them the first time. That's just a Fox noon game.
I think Michigan State goes on the road and gets a W.
I agree.
Not sold on this Michigan team. I've said that I was after they beat Gonzaga. I I think Juwan Howard will be able to recruit, but he hasn't really proven anything coaching-wise.
2 o'clock on Saturday, you got Purdue, 12-10, 2-6 on the road at 15-7 Indiana, who's 12-2 at home. Indiana's on a 3-game losing streak coming into this game.
This will be the J-Man's bucket prediction of the week. Gotta take the Hoosiers.
Yeah.
3-game losing streak, coming home, face their arch rival.
Who has had success
real
against them
good
recently.
success there. I just because of that, they're really due to just win one at home, and I think they get it done.
Oh, I think it's a big week for Purdue's got to find a way to split the games somehow. I mean, if they lose both of them, they're at 500. It's looking bleak. I mean, it's a tough week, but I've always said, or my dad's always said, and I agreed with him, in the Big Ten Conference for football and for men's basketball, if you want to do well in the conference, you got to take care of the I schools. Mm-hmm. Illinois, Iowa, Indiana. Unfortunately, Purdue hasn't beat either of them in football or basketball to date for the year. And Illinois, they're done with. They got swept.
Maybe Big Ten tournament will get them.
I don't want to play again.
The J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watchering for life, home, auto, renters, business, workers' comp, farm. Contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email address is travis.watchering@infb.com.
Talked to him earlier today a little bit, and he said he enjoys watching the show live when he can, but unfortunately he said this week he'll be listening as he's got volleyball league tonight. So
I like volleyball.
Told him good luck, and hopefully he's spiking some balls. He might be more of a setter. I don't know. But
yeah.
Unfortunately, I agree. I got the Boilers going 0-2 this week. It pains me. I hate picking against them, especially against Indiana, especially down in Bloomington. But
I hate picking against Purdue when they're playing at Backy Arena.
Yeah.
I hate it because it usually doesn't go well for me.
It went well for you last time. So
I didn't pick against them, though.
No.
At Mackey.
No, you didn't. I guess no, you didn't.
Should have.
But, I got Indiana. I just, like you said, they've got the week off, the rest. So a game almost they need. I feel like if Purdue gets this one from Indiana all of a sudden starts sliding back towards the bubble.
I think they're on the bubble right now anyway.
They're about 8 or 9 seed about every bracketology. So
they need a big road win in the worst way.
They do. They have one on the year, and that was at
I
Nebraska.
will go on record and say this is a must-win for them, Indiana.
Yeah, Minnesota at number 22, Penn State at 4 o'clock on Saturday.
I could see Minnesota getting that one, but give me Penn State.
I like Penn State in this one. Then you got Nebraska at Iowa, 6 o'clock on Saturday. I think Iowa gets revenge.
I think Iowa scores 100. 100 to 68.
Yeah.
But both teams score pretty well. Iowa's the leading scoring team in the Big Ten.
And Sunday we got 2 matchups. You got a must-win for, I think, both these teams. Ohio State at Wisconsin.
Man, I think Ohio State gets another loss.
I put them on the wrong side.
Absolutely. They're not going to make the tournament.
They were ranked number 2 in the country at one time.
I don't think they make the tournament. What a collapse. Look,
back-to-back years, Holtman's kind of done that.
He did with Bates Diop, too, that year. They kind of came out of nowhere.
They got the 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament.
Oh, they did?
Then fell on Friday night to Penn State, Tony Carr. And then they were out early in the NCAAs, though.
Yeah, so next year will be a big year for old Christopher.
I like Wisconsin at home in that game. And then Northwestern at Rutgers Sunday night.
Rutgers.
I agree. And then Notre Dame and Butler, since we hit on them every week.
I picked Butler to go 1-1 last week, but I was not anticipating the order of that happening. Winning at, I think, Georgetown.
Yep.
Then losing at home to Providence.
Fighting Irish has Pittsburgh at home Wednesday night.
That's 3 straight home games for them. They went 2-0 last week against Georgia Tech and Wake Forest. I assume they went 2-0. Give me Notre Dame.
Yep, I agree. And then they go to Clemson on Sunday night.
I don't know much about Clemson. Brad Brownell, who is a DePaul grad.
Clemson's 11-10,
I believe. Has
9-4 at home. Notre Dame's 2-4 on the road.
What's Clemson's record?
11-10.
What's Notre Dame's overall record?
13-8, 2-4 on the road.
Give me Clemson, close one.
I'll take the Irish in a close one. Just be different. They're right on the bubble. And then Butler, tough week for them. They're hosting Villanova Wednesday night. Number 10 Villanova, number 19 Butler.
It's kind of like the magic of Mackey, except at Hinkle, although they've lost a couple
this year.
But of course they did lose to Seton Hall, who was ranked in the top 15. But Villanova just got killed at home by Creighton.
Yeah, the Big East is crazy.
15. That was crazy.
I mean, the Big East tournament's going to be nuts this year at the Garden.
I think Butler gets it done at home.
Taking the Wildcats. Taking Villanova.
You would.
Then they go at Marquette Sunday at noon.
Where's Marquette sitting at here? I think
Butler beat them in overtime just a week or two ago.
Yeah, it was a Friday night.
Marquette's 16-6. Butler's 17-5.
I was going to say, I think Marquette's in the top 25.
Marquette's 11-1 at home. Butler's 4-3 on the road. Purdue had Marquette down by 18. Choked that thing away.
18? Was it really?
In the first half.
Wow.
And then lost by 10. Embarrassing.
Butler has a pretty good road record, but give me the Golden Eagles.
Golden Eagles. I'm taking Marcus Howard and the Eagles. Bad week for Butler, I think, this week.
I agree.
I'm the one harder on Butler right now than you. This is weird.
Any Super Bowl commercials that stood out?
I liked a couple of them. I liked the Cool Ranch Doritos one with Lil Nas X and Sam Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
The little
Bo Bennett.
I thought the Bud Light Seltzer with Post Malone was good.
That was a funny one.
Got any pretzels?
I loved the Jason Momoa one.
Why do I not remember that?
The Rocket Mortgage, real buff guy that took off. Yeah, that was a pretty funny one.
Good.
I love the Alexa one with Ellen DeGeneres and did all sorts of spoofs.
Not too many great ones, but a couple.
No, it's about what it is every year anymore. They used to be so much. I don't know if they were so much better back in the day, or if I'm just looking through nostalgic glasses. But it was a good game, at least.
You ready for the Birdie Bogey?
Let's hear it.
Andy Reid won the Super Bowl yesterday. Kansas City Chief head coach. Going into the game, he was the seventh winningest coach of all time, and he had the most wins for an active coach without a Super Bowl victory. Now he's got that. I want to know now who leads among the active NFL head coaches without a Super Bowl victory.
Our current head coaches right now.
One of 32.
One of 32.
Because there are some on this list that are now coordinators in the league.
Who has not won one? Sean Payton won one. Jason Garrett's not a head coach.
Correct, because Garrett was one I was thinking about, and he's 54th all-time wins.
Adam Gase hasn't been around that long.
He hadn't won enough either.
No.
Sean Payton's 27th all-time with a 131-77 record.
Ron Rivera.
Got it.
I was going to say it had to be Rivera.
Can you guess his record?
He's over 500, isn't he?
He's 76-63. That's 64th all-time.
64th most wins ever? Or 64th in win percentage?
No, wins ever.
Top 65.
The next closest, besides him, Mike Zimmer.
He's only been there
37-38.
5 years.
Arians is one game behind him.
Didn't even think about Arians.
Bill O'Brien's clear down 98th. We got guys like Wade Phillips, 58. Jack Del Rio, 47. Gruden, 41, but he won one with Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. Harbaugh's 35. McCarthy's 30th. Sean Payton, 27. Marvin Lewis, he's at Arizona State. He's 26.
Forgot about Marvin Lewis.
John Fox, 24th, but he's a commentator.
Yeah, Fox popped through my head, but
Tomlin, Pete Carroll.
Tomlin won one.
Reed, and then Belichick's third, of course.
Belichick's won a few.
You get a birdie, J-Man. Good job.
J-Man. I think I'm in the...
You're in the positive?
I think I'm in... No, I think I have more birdies than I do bogeys.
So you're on the good side. You're under par.
I was going to say I'm in the negatives.
You're under par. So thanks for watching on the ISC Sports Network. Thanks for listening wherever you're listening on your podcast platform. Please give us a rating and review on iTunes/Apple Podcasts. It really helps us out. And subscribe to the ISC Sports Network app. Download it and subscribe for a low fee of $4.99 a month. You can watch all of our episodes, not just the latest weekly ones. So
you can't get enough of us.
You can't get enough of us. Good one, J-Man. So we'll see you next Monday right here on the ISC Sports Network. Have a good week, everybody.